Ahead on KRCG 13 Live at 6, police are investigating into the death of a man found dead in Columbia Friday night. 4 football players are honored at Lincoln University's commencement ceremony today. Plus, volunteers in Columbia participate in a national food drive to help families struggling to put food on the table.
It was a dry day here today, but the rain, it's on the way for the start of the work week. KRCG 13 Live at 6 starts right now.
Live from across mid-Missouri, this is KRCG 13 Live at 6.
Good evening, I'm Stephanie Hirata. Thank you for joining us. A man was found dead Friday night near the intersection of 5th and Walnut just before 9 o'clock, according to Columbia Police. Officers and firefighters were called to 5th Street for a man down with an unknown problem. When they arrived on scene, they found the body of a man lying in the middle of the road just outside of the 5th Street garage. Authorities say he was pronounced dead at the scene. It is unclear how the man died, but officials say no foul play is suspected.
The officers are still working to piece everything together. We had our crime scene investigator out here. We had the medical examiner's office. We had several patrol officers as well as sergeants to do the investigation.
Authorities closed the road and the adjacent parking garage for about an hour while they investigated the scene. An autopsy will be performed to determine the cause of death. At this time, officials have not released the man's identity. A motorcyclist who was injured in a wreck on Highway 54 in Jefferson City on Thursday remains in critical condition, according to University Hospital. Police say 29-year-old Steven Dela Cruz of Jefferson City was on the westbound entrance ramp to Highway 54 at Highway 179 when he lost control of his motorcycle. He went into a ditch between the ramp and the highway. Dela Cruz slid across both westbound lanes of 54 and stopped just short of the median. He was thrown from the bike and landed in the roadway. Dela Cruz was taken by ambulance to a Jefferson City hospital and then airlifted to University Hospital.
And now, your KRCG 13 Weather Authority First Weather.
A nice day here after a cold morning across mid-Missouri. Overnight temperatures were in the 30s and 40s. Today we were back into the 60s. And right now at 6 o'clock, take a look at those temperatures. 67 in both Columbia and Jefferson City. Here's the view from space. We saw a fair amount of open skies earlier. Clouds have started to roll on in, and that's all ahead of our next center of low pressure well off to the west. But that's going to bring in copious amounts of rain in here starting late tonight and going into your Tuesday. Your forecast overnight, we are dry through about 2 to 4 o'clock. Otherwise, past then, we'll start to see rain and a couple of rumbles of thunder roll into the area. It's going to be a wet first 2 days to the work week. We'll talk a little bit more about rain chances coming up in a few minutes. Steph.
Thanks, Dan. During Lincoln University's commencement today, the school took the time to honor 4 of their football players who were killed in the past few years. Family members and friends of each player were there to accept honorary degrees for each of their loved ones. Gabriel Soto was killed when he was home for summer break visiting his family in East Los Angeles, California. His family says he was shot and killed at a garage party on May 25th of 2013. 2 of the players were killed in separate car crashes. Joe Jackson Parks was killed in 2013 in Warrensburg, Missouri. Darley Blackman was killed in a car crash near his hometown in Vallejo, California in 2014. And Vaughn King was killed after being shot in August of 2015 in Chicago when he was also home for his summer break visiting family.
I can't even imagine what that would be like, you know, to lose your child, but to have opportunity to see him receive a degree, you know, that will make, you know, that toughness hopefully a little easier on him. You know, the Lincoln did a phenomenal job, like I said, of honoring those young men, and we really appreciate that.
Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from some of the players' family members about what today meant to them. And Missouri firefighters who died in the line of duty in 2015 will be honored this weekend. Tomorrow morning, the service will be held in Kingdom City, where 4 firefighters will be remembered. Their names will be added to the Firefighters Line of Duty Memorial Wall. U.S. Senator Roy Blunt will be there to deliver remarks and honor firefighters and first responders who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Columbia was one of more than 10,000 cities nationwide to participate in the 24th annual Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive today. The nation's largest single-day food drive event is organized by the National Association of Letter Carriers. They asked residents to place donations of non-perishable food items beside their mailbox to be picked up during today's mail routes. Numerous volunteers spent the day helping collect and sort the food. All food donated stays in our local community, going to food banks, pantries, and shelters that will help families in need.
Just in Boone County alone, we're feeding about 104,000 people every month through our central pantry. So there is a need, and people are hungry, and we're trying to do all that we can on our end to help meet that need.
Last year, the Columbia Area Food Bank received about 161,000 pounds and hopes to exceed that number this year. The Capital City Corvette Classic was this afternoon at the Capitol. This is the 4th year for the event, which featured Corvettes from around the state. It started with a poker run and meet and greet on Friday and a car show today. Participants could talk with other enthusiasts while their cars were being judged for various awards.
My orange one over here was the best of show here last year, so I'm just displaying it. And the red one is my wife's, and I got her that for Valentine's Day. So, well, we love Corvettes, and we love going to Corvette shows. Meet a lot of nice people.
A history or ghost tour of the Missouri State Penitentiary is also part of the weekend. Still to come on KRCG 13 Live at 6, heroin seizures along the southwest border increased nearly 300% from 2008 to 2013. Plus, presidential candidate Donald Trump is not ready to release his tax returns. All those details coming up.
And I hope you're ready for some rain because it's here as we start the upcoming work week. We'll break down those details in my weather headlines when KRCG 13 Live at 6 returns.
And now, your KRCG 13 Weather Authority forecast.
And welcome back. A dry weekend here across mid-Missouri is going to turn into a wet couple of days as we start the work week. And here's what's on my radar as we go through the next few days and really the next 7 days. The first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, will feature rain and a decent amount of it. However, storms will be limited, but we will see a couple of isolated scattered storms in here. No severe weather is expected. That's the good news. By Tuesday evening, 1 to 2 inches of rain will be possible. We dry out here for Wednesday and the Thursday. We'll see what I call a dirty high pressure roll into the area. That means the rain moves out, but we don't lose a lot of the clouds. So we'll call a mix of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures stay below average. And then for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will see a little pulse of energy roll through the upper levels of the atmosphere. This could bring a couple of scattered storms in here, at least Friday and Saturday. Not a washout for Friday and Saturday. That's the good news. And then we are dry as we get into next Sunday. Here's a look at the overnight low temperatures this morning. And last night we talked about it. Will we reach a record low temperature? And the answer is we did not. The record low was 36, but we only got to 41. The spot in Columbia, that's where we keep our records for mid-Missouri. You'll notice here in Booneville, this says 20 degrees. That's actually an air at the weather station out there. Don't really know what the overnight low temperature was, but I can tell you it was not 20 degrees. The rest of us were somewhere between 35 and 42 for overnight lows. High temperatures today, well, we warmed up quite nicely. We end up seeing temperatures in the upper 60s where we expect it to be. We were at 67 in Columbia and Jeff City, 68 the warm spot in Sedalia. Right now at 6 o'clock, we're hanging with those temperatures where we were for high temperatures. We haven't cooled off too much. A pair of 67s at Columbia and Jeff City, 66 in Brunswick, still hanging on to the 70s in Marshall in Saline County. Here is your view from space, and earlier today you'll notice, if you were outside at all, we had a lot of sunshine, lots of blue skies. However, clouds have started to roll into the area from the south and from the west, and that's all ahead of our next weather system, which is a pretty impressive spin of low pressure. High pressure right now, that moves off to the east, and in its place. Clouds will start to roll back in here to the area, and in time, overnight tonight, especially by sunrise tomorrow, we will start to see rain here across the area. This is our first slug of rain. This will start to roll our way as we head into the morning tomorrow. Let's time it all out hour by hour, and this evening we are dry. Clouds continue to thicken up, but overnight tonight, let's say after 3 to 4 o'clock, start to see those showers approach from the south and from the west, and they will continue to roll in here through the day, and even some pockets of heavier rain here. You'll see the orange and the yellows. This is just moderate to heavy rain. This should not be thunderstorm activity, but it will be impressive rainfall here during the afternoon and evening tomorrow, and then we'll start to see another wave here. You can see that off to the south and to the west. That will move in here overnight, so tomorrow night will be wet as well, and we'll keep the rain in here as we get into your Tuesday, but rain will start to move out of here by the evening. Here is how much rain to expect. We could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. Isolated spots higher than that. That will be a little bit on the high side, but 1 to 2 inches is definitely possible. Some minor flooding could end up happening across the area. Tonight, let's recap that forecast. 49 will do it for an overnight low. Rain in here by morning. Here is your Monday forecast across mid-Missouri, and it's going to be a wet one, so hopefully you have your rain gear because it's going to be a cool day, a cool and wet day with widespread rain. Your 7-day forecast shapes up like this. Rain for Monday and Tuesday, dry Wednesday and Thursday, close to average by Friday with some scattered storms in here during the weekend. So just get the rain gear out tonight, set it by the door, and just, keep it handy all through next Sunday.
But it looks like next weekend could be sort of rain, can be maybe not, maybe.
Saturday rain, Sunday looks dry so far.
Okay, so half and half. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Dan.
Got it.
Next on KRCG 13, live at 6, presidential candidate Donald Trump is under fire for not releasing his tax returns, plus an inside look at our nation's first line of defense against drug smugglers. Those details after the break.
The design of a phase 1 study is designed to get the right dose. When you get anything on top of that, it's cake.
Quite a cake.
Quite a cake. Biggest cake we've seen in a long, long time.
Dr. Fritz Anderson showed us the results in another patient, himself. He's a retired cardiologist, and at age 70, he became the second person in the polio trial.
This is a fairly sizable temporal tumor, which means
that we see right here. On the left is his tumor before treatment. On the right, a hairline scar where it used.
Welcome back. Donald Trump continues to face questions over the release of his tax returns, as well as a mysterious spokesman who may have been the businessman himself. Brooke Silva-Braga has more from New York.
Donald Trump says he's still not ready to release his tax returns.
What is your tax rate?
It's none of your business. You'll see it when I release.
The presumptive nominee says he's waiting for the completion of an audit.
How are you?
Hillary Clinton released a new online ad attacking Trump for years of withholding them.
Maybe I'm going to do the tax returns when Obama does his birth certificate.
If I decide to run for office, I'll produce my tax returns, absolutely.
Every presidential nominee since 1976 has released their returns, but Trump insisted Friday they wouldn't show much, saying he pays as low a rate as possible, but doesn't use offshore tax havens. Trump also faced questions about this 1991 People magazine interview with his supposed spokesman, John Miller, who sounds a lot like Trump himself. The Washington Post published this audio.
I know somebody that knows, and I think somebody that he trusts and likes.
Miller spends much of the call discussing Trump's love life in unusually frank terms.
He's living with Marla, and he's got 3 other girlfriends.
Soon after the interview, Trump conceded it was him on the call, but yesterday, he said it wasn't.
It was not me on the phone, and it doesn't sound like me on the phone, I will tell you that.
But Linda Stasi, who got similar calls at the New York Daily News, says it's Trump.
Yes, of course it's Donald.
Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News, New York.
Ted Cruz delivered his first speech today since dropping out of the race. He did not endorse Trump. And with America's heroin crisis reaching epidemic levels, there is more of the killer drug on America's streets than ever before. Authorities are making more seizures along the Mexican border, but supply continues to increase. Kenneth Craig got an inside look at our country's first line of defense, where thousands of pounds of heroin are slipping past authorities every year.
A sea of vehicles enter San Diego every day from Mexico.
Any one of them could be carrying drugs.
Our job here is to find that needle in the haystack.
The State Department estimates 92,000 pounds of heroin were produced in Mexico in 2014, most of it headed for the United States. Yet, according to the Drug Enforcement Agency, only 11,000 pounds were seized across the country.
Heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine.
Port Director Sidney Aki says smugglers get more sophisticated every day.
We have seen narcotics in transmissions. We have seen rear quarter panels, front quarter panels, dashboards.
During our visit, inspectors found 22 bags of cocaine and meth in a spare tire. At another crossing, 9 pounds of heroin hidden in a motorcycle and a suitcase.
Is this your vehicle, sir?
Officers question each traveler, but they do not search every vehicle. Instead, they rely on instinct, density readers, and X-ray machines to find drugs.
We're out here 24 hours a day.
In between the ports, just 2 fences separate Mexico and the U.S., where agents face a different challenge.
This is Mexico right over here and the U.S. behind us.
Correct.
Agent James Nielsen says in the past 15 years, they've discovered 59 sophisticated smuggling tunnels from Tijuana.
Some of these tunnels are about $1 million to construct. There's a lot of money involved here, so the threat's always existing.
More heroin is seized on the San Diego border than anywhere in the country. But with the heroin epidemic hitting new highs every year, there's a long way to go. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, San Diego, California.
The National Drug Control Policy estimates that heroin seizures along the southwest border increased nearly 300% from 2008 to 2013. Officials say that also suggests that there has been a substantial increase in the amount of heroin that's entering the United States illegally. Coming up, high school baseball teams kick off district play while the Tigers take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Josh is in next with sports.
Why the chemo worked this time when it never had before.
Shockingly, chemo.
Welcome back. Mizzou baseball is trying to finish off strong. How are they playing, Josh?
Well, Stephanie, I have good news and I have bad news. Unfortunately, we'll start with the bad news. The Mizzou baseball team did need some wins, though, to make the SEC tournament. The Tigers began the weekend tied for 12th in the SEC. Only 12 teams advanced to the conference tournament. Tigers playing Georgia. They played 2 today after a rainout last night. There's former North Callaway Thunderbird Zach Levy honored before the game on Senior Day. Georgia with 3 in the first. The Tigers responded, though. Shane Bennis with a home run to left, a 2-run shot. The Tigers battled back. They tied the game at 3 in the 4th. Later, Mizzou's Zach Levy singles through the right side. That knocks in a run. Tigers took a 4-3 lead, but Georgia scores 4 runs over the final 3 innings. Michael Curry belted 2 home runs. The Bulldogs took Game 1 of the doubleheader 7-4. Game 2 of the doubleheader going on right now. Mizzou clinging to a 1-0 lead in that one. High school baseball district tournaments are underway across the area. Fulton Hornets hosting a district facing rival Mexico. Fulton got on the board first. Jared Peary drops a single into left. That scores a run. Hornets take a 2-0 lead. Mexico got one back in the 4th. The score stayed 2-1 until the 7th. Peary again for Fulton, this time a double down the left field line. All part of a 3-run inning, but Mexico answered with 4 in the bottom half. Brett Groves singles into center. 2 runs score that ties the game at 5, but Fulton hangs on to win it in extra innings 6-5. The other game in this district, Moberly, the 4th seed, upsets Kirksville, the number 1 seed, so Moberly advances to the district final. Class 2 district play opening up in New Bloomfield. The 4th-seeded Russellville Indians matched with Iberia. 4th inning, no score until Iberia's Riley Halley. The basketball standout triples to deep center. Cole Stillwell will score easily. The Rangers took a 2-0 lead. Russellville rallied, though. Tyler Voss doubles to right. Adam Kennedy scores to knot the game up at 2. More Russellville Indians later in the inning. Chandler Miller singles to right. Voss comes in to score. The Indians go on to win it 5-2 over Iberia. The number 2 seed in the New Bloomfield district, the Lynn Wildcats, had no problems with Calvary Lutheran this afternoon. First inning, Ryan Deacon, a 2-run single to left. Lynn takes an early 2-0 lead. After Calvary tied it, Lynn scored 7 in the 2nd inning. Nunn coming in on a hit. Lynn cruises to victory 14-2. Other district baseball scores: Vienna a winner over Bell 2-1. And over at Battle, Hickman defeats Camdenton. Smith Cotton knocks off Battle. More district action: Southern Boone a winner over Osage. Buffalo knocks off Eldon in a tight one in 8 innings. And Rolla knocks off Waynesville. Borgia over Owensville. The Royals can get back to the 500 mark with a win tonight. Casey and the Atlanta Braves are just underway at Kauffman Stadium. Dylan G., who's made 7 relief appearances for the Royals, is making his first start tonight. Casey beat Atlanta 5-1 in the series opener last night. The Cardinals' 3-game winning streak ended last night. St. Louis dropped the opener of its weekend series at Dodger Stadium, falling 8-4. Card starter Michael Wacha gave up 6 runs in 4 innings. Only 2 of those runs were earned thanks to 4 Cardinal errors. The Redbirds will send Carlos Martinez to the mound to face the Dodgers tonight. And some soccer scores in district action. A couple local schools. Osage falls to Bolivar 4-0. Springfield Catholic knocks off St. James 9-0. To the track now. Russellville High hosting a Class 2 sectional meet today. Russellville boys off to a good start, winning the 4x800 relay. Noah Lawrence of Tolton wins the 110-meter hurdles. South Callaway's Bennett Hager and Wyatt Hager advance both in the pole vaults. And Kate Baxter of New Bloomfield, she wins the 100-meter hurdles. And Jada Gaines of Fayette, winner in the 100-meter dash. She qualifies in 4 events. The Tolton girls win the 4x800 relay as well. So it's kind of fun time of year. All the high school sports wrapping up. We're seeing playoffs in all of them, and it should
a
be
lot going on this weekend, huh?
It'll be a lot, but it's
of sports.
exciting.
Yep, very exciting. All right, thanks, Josh. Up next, we'll have a last look at weather right after the break.
Perspective for me.
All the ones who haven't died on a phase 1 trial is simply remarkable. To see positive results in terms of controlling a tumor or shrinking a tumor in patients with recurrent disease on a phase 1 trial is remarkable.
Welcome back. It's been a breezy weekend. It looks like it's only going to get breezier, right,
It
Dan?
could. We could see a little wind with some of these storms, but, you know, severe weather as we get into the day tomorrow and Tuesday, not likely, but it definitely could be a little bit on the breezy side. Temperatures are chilly for this time of year. The average temperature is about 74 to 76, and we won't get there until the end of next week, so I would just have the rain gear handy, keep it with you every day, and, you know, you'll be okay.
50s tomorrow, though. You ready for that, Josh?
I guess so.
You have no choice.
I'll bring my jacket.
There you go.
And an umbrella.
Yeah.
Don't forget the umbrella. Well, that's all for us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tonight at 10. Have a good night.
Kind of weird. Just going back to that.